about the question of corruption, which is...
I'm suggesting it's another model of the United States. There's the United States, which is one nation under God, yes. And there is the United States, where corruption is so celebrated that it's taken as an ideal model for society.
I think this has to do with the ambivalence toward the political that I was talking about. In other words, the political is the realm of corruption, but also in the moral sense, the economic sense, in the religious sense. And that therefore the political can only survive in its noble mission if it becomes more than political, i.e. if it becomes moral, and by moral becomes in some sense theological. So that, in other words, the impulse, the general discreditation, a great tradition of discrediting political institutions as being naturally corrupt, that's what would be the important that. So that the emphasis is not there on trying to find ways of reforming the political institution. It is naturally corrupt, just as nature is fallen.
Is that corruption as a theology?
Yes, yeah, I think so. That's the way I mean, I see at least one of the major tendencies there. That makes it all the more important that there be a recourse to an instance that is metapolitical, transpolitical, transcendent, which then is a question of faith-based politics.
Yeah. But is it not actually the other way around? Is it not actually right that the politicians are whores, prostitutes, who have to follow what their constituency says? Also it's actually
the Max Weber reading of
yeah, it is also Clinton was a good politician. No? That was in this respect in Schmidt.
Okay. Max Weber writes in Wirtschaft und Gesellschaft, in his great work, that the American machine politics restores a level of local responsibility, a local responsiveness that you don't have in the constitutionally ordained state or federal, and that gives it a certain attraction. It's a source of its power. People are rewarded. They see things. Things are built in the community through basically corrupt local governments. I mean, I live in Chicago, and Chicago is a model example of that. There's been a great deal of very model renovation of the city of Chicago, with a government that by many criteria could be called as extreme, quite corrupt, and so on. So on the one hand, this is a long recognized thing. The problem is that, which is the problem of liberalism, that the accumulation of corrupt localities, each serving to some extent the interests of its constituents, does not add up to a more perfect, or the difficulty adds up to a more perfect union. Because you have then just individual competitiveness and so on, one against the other. There is no principle of union there.
That's true.
You see, so where is the principle of union once this principle of the more perfect union is declared to be the founding and informing principle? Where does that come from? My argument is, using Tocqueville, that it seems to me to come from a theological source.